Nicolas Maduro has arrived in New York less than 24 hours after being plucked from his home in the Venezuelan capital alongside his wife in an audacious US military operation.
In the darkness of a New York airfield, this was the American end of a most high-profile arrest. Slowly, Nicolas Maduro was walked off a military plane after being flown to face American justice. Handcuffed and with his head covered, this was
Waking up to this news, I had questions. 3 questions, really. Do I care? Who even is Nicolas Maduro? And is Venezuela a real country? I'm not sure, but I intend to find out. So I did what any normal adult would do. Found a map game where I could guess which of these countries is Venezuela. And I did about as well as you would imagine I would do. One thing that I really learned from this map was that there's way more islands in the Caribbean than previously guessed. And even though they are all not unique countries, there's still a ton of them. But in order to inform myself as to what this was about, and what the purpose of this was, I decided to attempt to watch some mainstream media. But there wasn't a lot of news. They were just repeating the same pictures and videos over and over. The US attacked Venezuela, the US captured Maduro. Then I saw protests were taking place.
Are you going to allow me to talk to protesters?
There's no allowing or disallowing.
Is it born?
Doing okay? How you been?
Good.
Yeah.
She doesn't want you to proceed to talk to me, so she's coming here to
video you.
She knows. She's been talking to me. She's been talking to me for 10 minutes about her opinion about. We've been having a good conversation, right?
After watching this protest footage, a few things started to really stick out. The first thing is that these protesters are saying free Maduro. I found that to be a little bit strange. A lot of these protesters also didn't seem to know what they were protesting. When they were asked about what they were protesting or what they thought, they were holding signs and they had to read their own signs. They didn't even know what they were holding. So it became pretty clear to me that they were not the informed. They were just the active. So I decided to do, again, what a normal adult would do. And that's go into a deep dive on Wikipedia and Google to try and understand who is Nicolas Maduro, what is Venezuela, and what just happened. The other thing I saw on the signs, which I found intriguing, was the Bolivarian Revolution. What the fuck is Bolivia? And what does that revolution have to do with Maduro, Venezuela, Trump, or the US? Because a few things were made clear. A lot of these protesters, they just hated Trump. And that's fine, but seemingly irrelevant to this scenario. That's not news. So now that I'm informed as to who Maduro is, where Venezuela is, what the Bolivarian Revolution is, it becomes clear to me that Maduro isn't good for multiple reasons, whether you agree that he's a narco-terrorist drug trafficker, or you think he's just someone who destroyed Venezuela, ruined their economy, took over after Hugo Chavez, and then failed completely to bring the Bolivarian Revolution to fruition, and the economy completely collapsed under his rule, and millions of Venezuelans fled while he was the president, to the point where in 2024, he lost the election in Venezuela and still claimed the presidency. The thing that everyone said Trump was going to do in 2020, and everyone hates Trump, still loves to talk about, the thing that never happened, the thing that Trump didn't actually do, seize the presidency. These same people that hate Trump are now saying free Maduro, the guy who literally did the thing that they fear the most. The other thing that was very clear in these protests is that not only were these protesters uninformed, they also were not capable or willing to talk about the protests or their thoughts or their ideas. Even the very few that maybe would have, the organizers of these protests very quickly would interject themselves and interpose themselves to prevent conversation. They very clearly discouraged conversation. They would pretend like, oh no, you can talk to them. However, they would call you an agitator. That's like their code word for trying to tell you that this person's opinion is different than yours, so you shouldn't talk to them because it would be a shame if you shared an opinion with someone who didn't already agree with you. Well, color me retarded, because I thought that was the whole fucking point of the signs and the protest.
UN policy.
What did she tell you? Not to talk to me, right?
Yeah, I would rather not be on camera right now, if that's okay.
That's fine.
I'll
So,
talk
but
to
you,
you off camera.
sure, you guys are protesting though publicly. Why don't you want to share publicly?
Who are you with?
I'm an independent journalist. My name is David Khait. I go to various protests around the country and engage with people civilly. Just better understand why they're protesting. The DSA is not a big fan of me because they don't in general like me having conversations with protesters. So they come up to people just like they did to you and tell you not to engage with me, which, you know, I think it's unfair. I'm a very, very civil, independent journalist, truly trying to figure out why people are protesting. So what did the sign say? No to illegal invasion of Venezuela. Okay. So why do you believe that it's an illegal invasion?
You know what? I think it's better not.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, two things jump out at me when I see that. One, this girl's looking at this guy like he's a piece of fucking meat. She's not wrong. Second thing is, when he asks her what the sign's about, she has to read the fucking sign. What are we doing?
I just wanted to see if you had any questions or concerns or anything like that.
No, I'm here just to talk to protesters about what they're protesting. Last time, Nate, who gets paid $80,000 to do this.
He doesn't.
Well, you guys are the only activist group that has a bargaining agreement with a union, right? Are you aware? You got DSA doesn't have a collective. You guys didn't get unionized. You're telling me the Democrat Socialists of America didn't get unionized by Communication Workers of America?
It's genuinely don't think you know what you're talking about.
It's a public contract.
I'm glad you're out here with us,
Well, can you
man.
explain to me a little bit more about the public contract that's available everywhere? And you're rolling your eyes because you know it's true, but
Volunteer organization. It's not paid.
You can say that, but you guys have a collective bargaining agreement with a union, the largest union in America, Communication Workers of America.
We need to clear something up. I don't know if this guy is confused or unknowledgeable. Both of those seem unlikely, but the DSA is a 501c3. That means nonprofit. Nonprofit is a tax status. It is not ineligibility from income. It does not mean that companies that are nonprofit do not make money. They can 100% receive money. They can 100% have excess money at the end of the year. They can and will have full-time staff and offer full-time benefits. I know from personal experience. I worked at a nonprofit for 10 years. They pay people, they pay them full-time, they give them benefits, and that's completely normal behavior. Denying it is a bit strange. We can see here, as a nonprofit company, you have to file public tax forms. You are tax exempt, but you have to file public forms. So, I did what any normal person would do, and I looked them all up, because I wanted to see, do they have employees? Are they fully volunteer? That doesn't seem likely, and as we see on these tax forms, it's not true. They do have employees. In 2019, they have 1,800 volunteers, 22 employees. 2020, 1,800 volunteers, 29 employees. 2021, they have 18 volunteers, not 1,800, 44 employees. Number doubles. 2022, 21 volunteers and 41 employees. 23, 42 volunteers, 36 employees. In 2024, they have 42 volunteers recorded and 38 employees. There are some interesting things on these tax forms, but the thing that confuses me the most is with so few employees and so few volunteers, how do they make this claim that they have a branch in all 50 states and 90,000 members of their program? How are they organizing all these protests in all these different states with so few employees? In 2024 alone, they paid $2.8 million in payroll salary. That's a pretty good number when you only have 38 employees. Especially when 34 hours is a typical work week at the DSA. It's a pretty good gig. How the fuck you get to 34 hours a week? Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved.
Their agenda and stuff like that by giving money to organizations like the DSA, right? So they can do what? So explain it to me a little bit more then. You have a great opportunity to explain to millions of people right now.
Millions?
Yeah. I have over 2 million followers, so you can
Millions,
explain.
wow.
Yeah, so explain to them, how does it work?
Unions don't work with volunteer organizations. They work with places of employment.
Okay.
They bring together people who are actually working and getting paid.
Yeah.
We're a volunteer organization.
So he knows how unions work, but he immediately reverts back to his programming of saying, oh, we're a volunteer organization. We're a volunteer organization. We can't have a union.
Okay.
They bring together people who are actually working and getting paid.
Yeah.
We're a volunteer organization.
So how
Doesn't
did
exist.
DSA get unionized by Communication Workers of America? Please
Doesn't
don't touch
exist,
me.
brother.
Please don't touch me. So the public agreement between you guys that you can literally pull up on your phone right now doesn't exist? Is that what you're saying?
Doesn't exist.
It does exist. So why don't you just explain to me how the contract actually works?
Doesn't exist.
I mean, it's public information. You guys just re-signed a deal that increased your wages, gave you guys even more days off, gave you parental time off and stuff like that. It's like I can go right now.
Time off?
I can right now go apply for a job to be. I forget what you guys exactly
Time
call
off
it, like
from
a field
volunteer organization.
Yeah. You guys. Well, you guys aren't strictly a volunteer service.
We're all volunteers, man.
I'm starting to feel bad, like maybe he's the only one not getting paid. Like he keeps saying it, like he's really coping with this idea that like, oh, nobody's getting paid. Brother, is a CPA. There are tax returns. They do have employees. And they have more employees and they pay more people in 2024 than ever before. And that's just 2024. I can assume that 2025 is on the same trajectory that they've been on. More employees making more money.
DSA, I'm not here with any organization. I am a volunteer marshal today.
You're wearing a red shirt. What's under the red shirt? Nothing?
A red shirt, bro.
Okay. What about all... Fair enough.
What?
Fair enough. So you're not DSA?
I am a volunteer marshal for this march today against Venezuela.
You have nothing to do with DSA.
I am a volunteer marshal.
Okay, so you are Democrat Socialist of America. You're part of that organization. I know that because I was actually
51.
Well, that's interesting change of fact.
DSA, I'm not here with any organization. I am a volunteer marshal.
I'm not here with any organization. He just said that a few minutes ago. Now he's here with 5051.
I heard you're from Venezuela.
Yes, I'm come from Venezuela.
And you don't agree with any of these people here, right?
No, I'm not agree. I'm not agree with Trump because Trump helped to my country obtain the libertad.
Can I ask you, there's a bunch of Americans here who have never
lived in a communist and socialist country with a socialist government.
So
the look on this girl's face, like, why is it that she's the only one that cares?
There's a bunch of Americans here who have never
lived in a communist and socialist country with a socialist government.
So Americans are protesting here against the arrest of Maduro.
So what's interesting here is that
They've
we found a
never been to
Venezuelan
Venezuela
at this
before in their
protest
life, and you have,
who
but
is
they stand against the Venezuelan people. How do you
pro-Trump,
feel about that?
pro the capture of Maduro.
We happy.
She's happy, but yet the organizer and this other guy who may or may not be an organizer, he's not wearing a vest. But if you notice, the organizer, the woman with the vest, comes over and she does a little hand gesture and she asks them to move over to the side. Now she's very passive about it and she gets ignored, but she does ask them to move, not have a conversation where they're at.
How do you feel about that?
I feel happy. We happy.
Even a dictator, like, he's not a good guy. It's just totally illegal. Also, against any.
Are you going to allow me to talk to protesters?
There's no allowing or disallowing.
This lady's going to come up to you and tell you not to talk to me. Yeah.
Okay,
I go around the country, have civil conversations with people. I'm not a troll.
Where he's from and what he wants.
okay, where are you from?
My name is David Khait. I'm an investigative journalist. I have a big social media profile.
And again, attempt to talk to somebody, organizer comes over, multiple come over and just tell her to come on.
I'm wondering, does PSL have time for an interview? Does PSL have time for an interview? We're wondering why you guys are so close to Neville roisting him. Why do you guys take $20 million from somebody that's so close to the Chinese government? Are you guys not in favor of asking questions? Why does PSL not want to answer why they take so much money from a foreign adversary?
No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA! No Trump! No KKK! No fascist USA!
And if you, like me, are probably asking yourself a question. What the fuck is the point? What is even happening? Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's pretty clear nobody fucking knows. What was the point of this protest? They don't know. Apparently it's no Trump, no KKK. What the fuck does that have to do with Venezuela? Maduro? Anything? I don't know, but I watched 3 different protest videos, and I have no idea what the fuck they were even protesting. What the reason for their protest was. Except what they are telling you. No Trump. That's what they hate. That's what they're about. That's what they're against. And as much as you can be against that, you're really distracting from real fucking issues on this world. Venezuela is a significant issue. Even more significant than that, probably, is Iran. What's happening in Iran right now? Nearly 20,000 citizens murdered by their government? Now that's real fucking fascism. That's a real fucking problem. But instead, we got a bunch of bored, useless fucking white liberals that take the streets just to complain about Trump, just to be the victims. They need to create their own victim narrative so that they have a reason to leave the fucking house. So if you take anything away from this video, it's that these protests that are taking place are a complete waste of your fucking time, and that is the point. The whole point is to distract you from what the fuck is actually going on in the world. Because as long as you're worrying about no Trump, no KKK, what the fuck do you know about Iran? What do you know about the situation in Venezuela? What has even happened since we've taken Maduro? What is even happening in that country? The news, nobody's covering it because they're too busy looking at Minnesota. When the protests are curated, staffed, the signs are manufactured, talking points are given, the organizers are there to prevent conversation, that's not a protest. That's a product. The products are designed. Instead of talking about fraud, instead of talking about Epstein, we're instead talking about how, yet again, someone in Minnesota died. So now we all have to listen to it, and we all have to deal with that instead of any real issues. Ask yourself what's really more important. Billions of dollars of fraud? Complete government cover-up? Or real fucking fascism real dictators doing real crazy shit to their country. And if you made it to the end of the video, give it a dislike and stay the fuck out of my comments.